Hello everyone, this is Cosplay ASMR. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to hand stitch. The stitch I'm going to be teaching you today is the backstitch, which is one of the most basic stitches, probably the most basic stitch you can learn. It's got a lot of different uses. You can use it in embroidery. You can use it to sew pieces of fabric together. You could potentially use it to hem fabric. It's a very versatile, very sturdy stitch. And that's what you're going to be learning from me today. So, first things first, we're going to be getting a piece of thread. I'm gonna get it like a little bit longer than that. I think that's a good length. Alright. So, got a little piece of thread. Time for a needle. I was lucky enough when I was shopping for needles to find this. This was only about $1, and it's 30 various needles. I think I'm going to use this short one here on the left. Oh, 2 of them slid out. Just gonna put you back in here. There you go. Alright, then close it back up. So now you thread your needle. And if you need assistance threading a needle, there are little tools that you can use, and they will help you get the thread through the eye of the needle, which is sometimes very small, especially if you're doing embroidery. The eyes can get very small, or like tapestry, I think. There's lots of different kinds of needles, and some of them will have like gigantic eyes that take up half the length of the needle, and then others will have teensy tiny ones. It all depends on the project that you're working on. So, you have the thread through the needle, and then you're going to want to tie the ends together so that when you pull the thread through the fabric, trying to tie that right-handed, it's not working. So when you tie the needle through the fabric, you don't want it to go through, so you knot the ends of the thread so it'll stay. So I usually end up going through knotting it 2 times. If you have a stretchy fabric, you might want to do it more just so that the thread doesn't slip through. So now that the needle is threaded and ready to go, I'm going to show you the backstitch. For demonstration purposes, I'm using red thread on black fabric. Normally you're going to want thread that matches the color of your fabric. But obviously, to make it show up better on camera, I use contrasting colors. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is bring the needle up from underneath the fabric. Just pull it through. until the knot hits the fabric. Now I'm going to make these stitches big so they show up nice for you. But when you're normally making these, you're going to want them to be pretty small in size. So, you have the needle through the thread. I'm going to be sewing in this direction. So, this is where the backstitch gets its name. You're going to actually bring your first stitch back and then pull it back through. Again, I'm making these stitches big so that you can see them. Normally you're going to want it to be maybe like half to a third of this length, but I'm just going to make them nice and big for you. So, you pull it back. Remember, this is where you pulled the thread up, and this is where you pushed it back through. So, pulling it up, pushing it back. So for your next stitch, you're going to bring the needle up a little bit to the left, or whichever direction you're sewing, a little bit in that direction of the previous stitch. You're going to want it to be approximately the same length as this one, so get as close as you can, and then just pull the needle through the fabric. Pull the needle through the fabric. And then bring it back. Try to get it in this same hole which you pulled this stitch through, as close to that as you possibly can. And then just kind of stick it in there. Oh, fabric's getting bunched up. Here we go. So that's your second stitch, and I'm just gonna keep going to demonstrate further. Just a couple of stitches here. So you want to try and get these as even as possible. However, since you're not a sewing machine, don't expect perfect results on your first try. Or if you are a sewing machine, congratulations on finding this video. So you just keep going on and on in this direction. Keep sewing. And your goal in this is to keep the stitches as straight and even as you can, because that'll just make it look better. Oh dear, I've been very sloppy on the reverse. Oops. Just ignore that. Normally I pull the thread through all the way, but I guess I just haven't been. Oops. So basically, just keep going until you run out of thread. Let's say that I ran out of thread here. So, when you're out of thread, you're going to want to loop the thread around the needle like you're tying a knot, which you are. You're tying off a little knot. I like to press on the knot to keep it as close to the fabric as possible. Other people have other methods, but I find this to work the best for me. And then you just snip. And whatever thread is left on the needle you can pull off. And then the needle's ready to be threaded again, if you so desire or if you need it. And this is just the little row of back stitches that I've done. They're not the tidiest, but I think they demonstrate the purposes quite well. So that's about it for the backstitch. I'd like to thank you for watching and listening. If you have any suggestions for other stitches that you'd like to learn, or any other cosplay related tutorials that you'd like, please let me know in the comment section below. I will read every comment and I will take your words and take your suggestions. And so yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you around.